So when discussing high-end CRTs, the Toshiba comes up a lot. And when one popped up in my area on Craigslist, I decided to go check it out and review it for you guys. This is a Toshiba 32AF43. And looking at it right now, the build quality is solid. It looks a lot like a Sony Trinitron, like a FV300 series. Like if you look at the bottom here, this curve looks like a 300. I like the buttons on it down there, and there's a nice tally light that lights up red. Really like how it looks. I wish it wasn't silver, but I mean, everybody had a copy Sony. It's square on the top. You can set stuff down on the top up there like that. Yeah, I noticed some prominent YouTubers, MLig and GameSack, have these in their game rooms, and I just wanted to see what all the hype was about, so let's check it out. Well guys, it's as sharp as a Trinitron. It's pretty amazing. So this is a 32-inch, and those are some thick Scanlines. I'm pretty impressed with this. The colors on it look different. There's a look to this CRT that I can't quite put my finger on. It looks more like a Trinitron in the aperture grill than it does like a shadow mask or a slot mask. And we'll get in close. I was pretty interested in how the mask of this tube looked, or the grill of it. And it is, you can tell it's like a slot mask when you get in close, and we'll do that, but it looks like a Trinitron, like when you look at it from a normal viewing distance. And I don't know, man, it might be sharper. It might be a better tube than a Trinitron. I got to spend more time with it, but if you like this more than a Trinitron, I wouldn't blame you. I'm very impressed with it. Let me back up and you can look at some gameplay. So I went online and people were saying if you get the 32-inch versions of this TV, that they are Toshiba tubes, and if you get the smaller ones, then they're Orion tubes. And I tend to think if a tube is made by the manufacturer of that TV, it's probably a better quality tube than if they, the third party makes it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just blown away by how good this looks. I watched movies on it, and the movies, I wasn't sure if it looked better than a Trinitron. I think the movies looked better on the Trinitron. Like my XBR, I have a 36-inch XBR 200, and I think the movies looked better on that Trinitron than on this. But man, for 240p gaming, this is some next level stuff right here, man. Like, this looks like a pro tube in it, and it's 32 inches, and they make this in a 36-inch as well. Really impressive. So we're zoomed in to the mask of the tube. I guess it's a slot mask. I mean, I had to zoom in on this because the scan lines were so thick. I thought that this was an aperture grill. Like, do they have somehow get an aperture grill on this? And when you look at the phosphor triads like we're looking at here, it looks damn near like an aperture grill. Like if you compare this to like a JVC, this looks more like a Trinitron, the way these all line up. Like all these little dots in here are stacked. They're not like fit. We're looking at like blue cloud right here. But if you look, they don't stack completely, what's the word for it? They're not completely in line along the horizontal axis. They are kind of stutter stepped. Like if you go from left to right, each little phosphor triad is like one's up a little higher than the next and the other one's down a little bit. And it is so slight that you have to get in this close. Like if you back, like with the naked eye, it actually looks like an aperture grill tube, the way the little phosphor triads stack up. But I mean, I'm zoomed in with the lens of this camera, which is, I mean, closer than I can see with the naked eye. And I looked at with the magnifying glass, and you can tell that they are slightly stutter stepped, like a slot mask tube. But yeah, really amazing what they did with this tube. It doesn't look like your typical slot mask tube. It looks more like an aperture grill. Got a grid pulled up, very good geometry. Little bit of bowing here. And that's really all I see. There is a tilt correct in the menu on this, so you don't have to worry about that, like the yoke being off. Got the menu pulled up. A couple things to point out. This SVM down here. Let's see if you can see it, where it says SVM above reset. That is your edge enhancement, so you want to turn that off, definitely. One thing I noticed on this TV that I've never seen before is the tint. You actually have to turn up to +12 to get the colors right, which is odd. Usually tint or hue I leave at 0. I've never had to adjust it before. On this set I did have to adjust it. Let's see. One more thing to show you. Is it has a tilt correct image tilt right here. We can tilt the image, which is pretty much something you need to do on any large set. Like if I just rotate this like 180 degrees so it's facing the opposite wall, the tilt is going to be off. So it's in the regular menu right here. And then it has an image shape, so you can set it to 16:9, I guess. I never do that, even when I'm watching movies. Check out the fourth input. It calls it color stream, which I thought was interesting. That's our component video. They call that color stream. So I have a VCR remote that I'm using to work with this TV on, and I'm having trouble with it. And I wanted to demonstrate to you guys how to access the service menu, but I can't get it to work with my remote, so I'm just going to read it off to you. It says, press the volume down on the actual TV, on the control panel on the front of the TV, and hold it down till it hits 0 on the volume, and then it says to keep holding it for about 10 seconds. Then press the number 9 on the remote for about 5 more seconds. And then when you're in the service menu, you use the channel functions. You press channel up and down to cycle through the menu options, and you press the volume buttons to adjust whatever option you're on. And it sounds like it just automatically saves it. Like, I'm not seeing anything here about how to save it or how to reset to defaults. So be careful when you're in there. Okay, we got her opened up. She does have a Toshiba tube in her. Very clean board design. The freaking neck board on this thing is a beast. There's a lot going on that neck board. It's got one pot. One pot on the neck board. VR1, YHC. Who knows? Nothing else except for down on the focus. Of course, we got screen, and then there's a focus 1. Where does it say? Yeah, on the top of this focus, it says focus 1. And then focus 2, which is cool. I wonder if it's inner and outer focus. I'm not going to mess with it. This TV's in really good shape. I don't want to mess it up, and I'm not going to be using this TV primarily anyways. If it was a 36, I might actually replace my XBR with it. I don't know. Or it would definitely be an excellent backup. But it's a 32 inch, and I use 36 because of my setup. But yeah, well designed inside. Okay, I'm around back. Let's say model number 32AF43, manufactured March 2004. Assembled, I wonder if it's, yeah, assembled in the USA. That's a good sign. Got some bent RF right there. Someone ran it into some furniture. That's alright. 2 composites. Video 1 and video 2. DVD in is our all-important RGB component with its own dedicated sound. It doesn't share audio with another input. Interesting. And they're really pushing this color stream thing right here. Must be some of that blast processing marketing treatment. You probably look that up and find some funny marketing. And there's video and audio out. The fact that it has a video out as well as an audio and has a dedicated sound to it means that, to me, that this is a little bit more of a higher end TV, and everything I'm kind of noticing about it points to that. It is heavy too, which tends to go with higher end CRTs. It's as heavy as a Sony. It's a two-man lift. I can lift a 32-inch D series on my own, but there's no way I'm lifting this 32-inch on my own. So I got the Toshiba hooked up in my room, and I'm comparing it to my BVM, my 36-inch XBR200, and then I got a 27-inch Vega TV, and finding out some really interesting stuff. I'm going to try and go through it quickly and stick to the stuff that most people care about. So, first of all, when I'm plugged into 480i, like right now, this is my my computer is plugged into this VLC. This is a 480i signal, and you can see the scan lines. So this TV is really fucking sharp. Like, comparing it to my other TVs, it looks more like a BVM than it does a consumer grade CRT. In fact, it is so sharp that you can see scan lines distinctly from a normal viewing distance in 480i, which actually isn't very appealing. It's too sharp. So I can't really use this as my main TV because I watch movies and I browse the internet on this TV, and it's just too damn sharp. Like watching movies, I don't want to see scan lines when I'm watching YouTube, or when I'm watching, or like when I'm browsing on the internet. It also has a pretty solid interlaced jitter that, like right now, this is my computer desktop. You can't see it because of some magic of recording and my camera and whatnot, but it's got a bit of a jitter. It's not terrible. It's actually livable. I'd be okay with it. Like, it's really bad on a white screen. But it's how sharp it is. It's too damn sharp. Like, there's a cartoon pulled up. Let's pull up an actual movie. Like if I pull up Willow, you can see scan lines and people's faces, which I don't want to see. Let's pull this up. Okay, check this out. You can see the scan lines on this Metro Goldwyn thing right here. Let's compare that, how that looks, to my XBR200. Okay, so here we are on the XBR36-200, and you can't see the scan lines. You can barely maybe see them a little bit, which is okay, and when I'm sitting across the room, I don't see them at all, which I really don't want to see scan lines in watching movies. I mean, it's also a demonstration of just how freaking sharp this Toshiba is. Let's pull up a scene, like, let's see. I want a scene with, like, somebody's face. Okay, so I guess we're zoomed up pretty close right here. Like, normally across the room, you don't really see scan lines on this, but you can see a little bit of scan lines on here. But when we get across the room, you're not going to see that. But it is a softer image than the Toshiba. Now I'll go over to the Toshiba and we'll look at that. So you see how pronounced the scan lines are here? It's too much for watching movies, but for playing video games, it's freaking amazing. So let me do some comparisons with some 240p. This is the 32-inch Toshiba. This is my 19-inch BVM 900 line. This is my 36-inch XBR 200 consumer grade Sony. Alright my dudes, it's about time to wrap this up. I'm a Toshiba fanboy. Like, I want to go cheerlead for Toshiba, get on the Reddits and start praising the glory of Toshiba right now. And I gotta be careful because I'll have a tendency to honeymoon with the TV and think it's the greatest thing ever, and then it'll be in my room for a while and next thing you know it's out in the shed. And that happened. Like, my XBR 48 used to be sitting right here, and if you go listen to that video, I'm going on and on about how great it is. And it is a great CRT, but I come to realize that I don't really care for the curved screen, and then those older Trinitrons just have a dimmer image that doesn't look very good with movies. And I watch a lot of movies, and that's the thing that sets me apart from a lot of you guys. Like, this TV isn't going to end up as my main TV, even though it's sharper and it's got better colors, because it's too small. It's 32 and not 36, and I want a big screen for movies. I sit like all the way across the room when I watch them. And then also, this is too sharp. It's got the same problem that my BVM has. Like, I can't watch movies on my BVM because you can see the scan lines even on an interlaced image. You can't with any Sonys or any other consumer CRT, but on this bad boy, it's so friggin' sharp that you can see the scan lines, and I just don't think it's a good look for movies. But it is for video games, which is what you guys want, right? So, yeah, I mean, this is probably going to end up being my Tate TV over here, because it doesn't matter that it's got scan lines if it's Tate. And these are going for free right now, whereas these Pro models are going for like $500, $1,000. Trinitron FV310s are going for $200 in my area. And guys, this might be the one. You might be better off with this than a 310 or a Pro model. So, I mean, this is going to wrap the video up. Go out there and get you some Toshibas, guys.